which story is which. But there was one, when I went back to Gallifrey, and they had this brilliant idea that I would be encased in this lovely sort of carbon dioxide, dry ice, basically. And the trouble with, if you're in the middle of dry ice, is you can't breathe, because there's no oxygen. So, they, of course, being Doctor Who, they did about 10 takes of it. I was virtually unconscious by the time. And that added to that, Colin Baker was in the same story, which, of course, was terribly difficult. I had a premonition, that he was after my job. It probably was, yes.
Oh, sorry, that's my job. Now or you're down? All right. Everybody watch their head. I'll just stay here.
Oh, no!
I think my main question is, as actors in sci-fi series, were y'all really fans of science fiction before you started acting in them? And if so, what were kind of your favorite series or storylines that you kept up with?
Who wants to take it?
Go on, Colin.
Yes, I was a fan. I grew up on X-Files and Next Generation would be the ones that I sort of... But it wasn't like something that I was gunning for. It's not like oh, I really want to get a sci-fi show. But it's funny hearing the stories because they're all the same. Because sci-fi through the ages, like when he says carbon dioxide, I'm like, I know where this is going. Because you all have to do that stuff where there's a blast of it, and you and the cameraman end up on the ground for a couple of seconds. You're like, oh, I can't breathe. Can you? No, I can't breathe. So it's a fun genre to work in.
Don't me, I'm fucking drunk now.
I wasn't so much a fan of except I was the first Doctor Who who was actually brought up on Doctor Who. So I actually watched Doctor Who from the first episode through certainly the first two Doctors. So it was a very strange experience to be actually offered the part. When I left drama school, I thought, maybe I'd like to get a part in Doctor Who, maybe a couple of lines, that'd be really good. And then I ended up playing one of the Doctors. That's very extraordinary. Apart from that, I was a big fan of science fiction books and magazines. John Wyndham is a famous science fiction British writer. I loved his stuff. And H.G. Wells as well.
Never.
No.
Next Generation for me. I used to have a book. I forgot all the way through.
He's not kidding, he is drunk, isn't he?
I used to have a book. I covered it in silver foil, and that was my Star Trek book because all my Star Trek episodes were on long play on tapes. And I had the number written down of which episode was there with a brief description. My little school book, which I covered in foil. That's how much of a geek I was.
The mic is always going to win out for those raising their hands.
This question is for Peter. Other than yourself, obviously, who has been your favorite Doctor thus far?
My favorite... I think my favourite Doctor when I was growing up and up until the point I played Doctor Who was Patrick Troughton. Because I thought he did a fantastic job. He had the hardest job because he was the first regeneration. So I was just addicted to William Hartnell, and suddenly there was Patrick Troughton. Now I feel I'm rather obliged to say, which is true, my son-in-law. It's family loyalty and all that. We're starting a dynasty.
Thank you.
There's a great conversation going on there. Anyway, take it away.
Hi, my question is for Colin.
Hi.
I was at your table yesterday and I gave you a short movie and
Yes.
And I really felt like for a moment maybe we had an exchange.
Surprised we didn't sleep together.
You're totally checking me out, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking. That's what I need to know.
This away from you.
I've got two here for me. Pardon? You were the one double fisting earlier, yes.
She had 2 drinks.
This one's for Peter. I wanted to know if you still watch Doctor Who, like the newer episodes.
Yes, I do, because I have 2 sons who are 11 and 13, well, 10 and 12 now, but soon be 11 and 13. So they, of course, as they should be, addicted to Doctor Who. And now I have got to the point where I have to ask them what's going on. You know, for years they would say, Daddy, what's happening now? And I would explain very dutifully, yeah, this is because this has happened with Darcy. And now, of course, I get to the point, I'm just sitting there going, what? This is not because anything to do with the series, this is just my brain decaying.
Take it away.
Colin, in the body switching episode of Eureka, you did such a good job with Ferguson. Set the whole time for each other.
It was pretty. It's scary. It's pretty fun. I mean, when you do a character for a while, you just get so comfortable with that character does. You know what the character does, and when you go to place something else, you just feel like an ass. You know, a long time you finish the take and you're sort of like, was that terrible? And the camera guy's like, yeah, that was pretty bad. Can we go again? No, yeah, we're going again. So it was fun, but it was pretty scary to do. Yeah. All right, take it away.
Colin,
Sure.
and can you tell me a little bit about your trip to Haiti?
Oh, I went to Haiti last couple weeks and helped build an orphanage for folks who needed it. Children's We had a good time. It's rough there, but it was good. And if you're inclined to do something like that, there's a group called Hope to Haiti. Misha Collins is known him for being a dick. No, known for about 10 years. He's a good guy, and he runs it. So all the money goes right to the orphanage. So if you're inclined to give in that direction, Random Acts is the website, and Hope to Haiti. It's fun, good time. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, yes, you want. I want my booze. Can I get my booze?
Yes, this is a question for Colin. Obviously I love you in Eureka, but I also watched you on Ghost Hunters the night that you went with them to the battleship.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering what your thoughts were on that experience.
My thoughts are that's a rough gig. I mean, those guys work nights every night. It's like the Supernatural guys, like they work nights. That sucks. Like, you know, all these vampire shows on TV, the first thing that occurs to me is like, that's a night job. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you get the script and you're like, I don't want to do that. But it was great. I mean, it was working with those guys was great, and all the sort of the stuff that went down was completely new to me. So their gear and stuff is fantastic, and Jay and Grant are lovely. So I had a fantastic time. It was the USS Hornet, the most haunted ship in the U.S. Fleet. Yeah. And on that upbeat note.
Vodka jelly?
That seems odd now for Jello shot. Yeah, so good.
This is a question for Peter. Outside of the Fifth Doctor's companions, are there any you wish you could have worked with?
I rather was attracted to Lena's fur bikini. That was really cool. I don't know, actually. No, I kind of like my companions, but I'd love to, I've really met the other companions at conventions, so yeah, I'd like to any of them, really. I thought they were all fantastic. Great. Incidentally, Colin probably won't like this, but I texted Stephen Moffat, who, as you probably know, is now the producer of Doctor Who, and I said, is there a connection between Doctor Who and Eureka? Can you come up with one? And he said, yes. I wrote a series called Coupling. And there was an American version of Coupling. And guess who was in it?
I've been bugging Steve to get on that show forever. On Doctor Who. I'd love to do it. Yeah, so I've known Mr. Moffat for bunch of different years. So it's been good. I was supposed to do an episode of Sherlock, I guess. It didn't work out. Roller coaster this battle. It's happening. No, it was good. He's a phenomenal guy. Are you going to do one? Are you going to do it?
I've done a voice. I did a voiceover. I got a phone call from him. He said, "Would you do something for us on Sherlock?" I said, "Yeah, great, fantastic." He said, "We put a voiceover to go in the background in a scene in the planetarium." So I went along and it took me about 30 seconds. I think that was my part. I don't think I'm going to be offered another one. If you listen very carefully, it's in the first series. They go into the planetarium. I'll put this voice in the background moaning on about the various planets. That's me. I was hoping for something a little bigger, but never mind.
And they say that too, like, well, we would invite you back, but you've already done this part. He's very busy.
He's Welsh, you know.
Do not tweet this. It's already happened. We all already know. Garth and Lloyd drunk on vodka jellies. Fucks up panel.
My question's for Gareth. James had mentioned that his wife liked watching the kiss between him and John Bowerman, and I was wondering if your wife also enjoyed watching your relationship.
No, she didn't. No, my wife doesn't like me kissing anyone except for her. and it grosses her out.
No, you take it. We're deferring to the mic at all times. Except we love you and want you to know that.
First off, I have an accolade for all of you, and it's thank you for everything that you do from the bottom of my own sci-fi nerdy heart. And the question, which I just got from a friend who is very angry that she can't be here, is for Peter. And might there be any sort of rumors or machinations you could let us have an insight to as to whether you'll be back for the 50th?
I have no information, as you heard, I know Stephen quite well. He's not done anything on at all. I'm not counting on any of us being back, apart from perhaps the only one who can legitimately come back is actually David Tennant, because there is a version of him in an alternate world who is growing older. So actually, he's really the only one who can come back in a story sense. But I don't know. Maybe I did the Time Crash. He came up with a little way of explaining why I was there, even though I was many years older. So I don't know. It would be nice. But I had the idea that I was going to do, if we weren't asked, I was going to do a separate video with the classic Doctors. And it would just be Colin, Sylvester, myself and Tom sitting around looking at a telephone.
Okay.
How was it when you played H.G. Wells' assistant on Warehouse 13?
How was it?
Yes.
It was great. Where's the spin-off? They were, and then it was still happening, and then the last thing I heard, we're still doing a spin-off, but it might be about different characters.
We're still spinning it off, but it's going to be a different show. That's a lot.
It's going to be a spin-off of a different show. So if you want to email them and tell them how angry you are, maybe not a good idea. If you want to email them and tell them what a good idea it would be to do the spin-off, then you're very welcome. Sci-fi.
This is for Colin. With all the roles you've taken on Eureka, with producing and directing and acting, which are your favorites, and what do you see a lot of differences between them in your relationship with your other cast members?
We sort of a good family going, so the relationship with the cast members was the same. I like them all differently. I like producing because it's powerful. And you can just make decisions, and you're like, no, that's good enough, and everyone just listens to you, which rules. Because as an actor on set, sometimes you just know, you're like, that can't happen like that. Oh, we're going to try to make that happen like that? It's not going to work. You're going to suffer under it for like 2 hours, then you're like, oh, and now we're back to where we said we were going to be. So you get to sort of do all that stuff. The directing's great because you get to protect everybody. you get the story early on, and you get to protect it through pre-production, and then in the shooting of it, you know what everybody's strength is, and you can just let them go. You can just let them go, hey, do what you want to do. I need you here, I need you here, I need you here, and then anything else, just run with it. And that's just wonderful, because you're working for your castmates, which is super cool. And acting is awesome. No, it's good. I mean, it's what we do, and it's fun to do. The hard bit about it is when because as these guys know, you get some people who haven't done it for very long, which is all valid, but sometimes they come on, and they have very different ideas about how the medium actually works. Like, it's so down and dirty at the end of the day. It's so like smoke and mirrors, and do your lines and stand here, and some people come in with some pretty lofty stuff. And that's sort of the hardest thing, is to sort of break them into what the industry actually is, which is, yeah, which is like, you do it and quick.
You went to do work on Doctor Who. I should say that was circa 1981, so that wouldn't be possible unless you go back in time. In those days, we really were smoke and mirrors and get everything done by 10 o'clock when they turn the lights out.
Oh.
So,
did you guys, because now you can fix it in post, like a lot of times on our show, we don't have a prop, so we'll literally hold something like this and sort of do that. No, it's not working. Ah, there, and it's nothing. It's
Uncle Johnny. That is the line, though, isn't it? Anything, we'll fix it in post.
We'll fix it, but they can do all sorts of electric shocks and things, but you guys couldn't fix it, so you had to have. You just that's broken. I'll put it in my pocket. Awesome. Sure. There's no plan because it's sci-fi. So a bunch of limbless monkeys throwing darts at a board. Maybe don't post that.
It's already been tweeted. They were tweeting it. I saw them.
No plans, but we all said that we'd love to do it, and we'd love to be involved in any way that we can. I mean, it's a show that's great for us, and
I'm free. Let's make this connection between Torchwood and Eureka.
We don't have a problem with that. We're doing that.
I've noticed you completely ignored the volleyball.
This is my third. Despite the fact it's all over me.
Part of it doesn't count. It's on this.
You need a fucking spoon with these things. The lid. Not yet. Maybe after a couple of hours in the bourbon bar.
All right, take it away.
Just an odd question. Really, it's for all three of you, but how hard is it to go back and watch yourself when you're like recording DVD commentary or any of the commentaries that come out, the special features?
Depends how bad the performance was.
Says the drunk out of my back. I go through it. It's hard to remember sometimes what went down. You remember sort of the scene, but it's really hard to remember sometimes the logistics and the problems. I sometimes have to watch it once or twice and then do the commentary, just so I can sort of remember. Or if I'm stuck, I call a friend and I was like, "Can you do this with me? Because we can make up stuff."
We look back at the things, and we have a very strange relationship with Doctor Who. I love doing it, but a lot of the stuff that could have been done so much better. So we start.
Sorry for boring you. Sorry for boring you.
So listen, right. Why did they have to leave when I was talking? So quite often I do a lot of the commentaries with Janet Fielding, who played Tegan, and very often we're stopped by the people in the control room and say, "Could you find something nice to say about the episode?" Because we're fairly brutal with it, and sometimes we worry we're giving the wrong impression, that we hated every minute of it, which we didn't at all. But there are so many holes you can pick in it, and it's just such fun to go, "Look at that set wobbling."
you're in when you're creating it, because you're always sort of going like, what can we do better? You know, okay, this doesn't work, so how can we fix that? And so you sort of sometimes jump back into that headspace. And I agree, it's not negative at all. In fact, it's the opposite. You're striving to make it better at all times.
Yes, lovely.
I have a question for Colin.
Thanks.
How fun was it to do tabletop, and how long did it take to reset the board?
This episode of Tabletop is Will Wheaton, where you basically play a board game for an hour or two, which is great. Really, really fun. And I did it with Will and his wife and Amy and myself, and we're counting up the score at the end of it. And Will's wife makes a joke. It goes like this, and the whole score goes. And you're never sure of the barrel dynamics, right? You're like, I thought he was going to kill him. His hands go up, and her hands go up, and yeah, it was not long, probably 5 or 10 minutes. They had an overhead camera.
We fast forwarded through the whole thing, and I was like, I wonder how long that really took.
Yeah, I got her a drink. She had a drink. It was really fun. I'm sorry, I know you're back there.
This is for the whole panel. What made you want to get into acting, and what's your favorite sci-fi show of your own? It didn't have to necessarily be yours, but what you enjoy watching.
Well, like I said, I was a big Trekkie Next Generation when I was younger, but at the moment, I'm loving Game of Thrones. I think I said, no, I'm pretty addicted to Game of Thrones. But why did I get into acting? I couldn't really anything else, really.
You're a good musician.
Well, I'm a vocalist in a band. That doesn't mean I'm a good musician. I can play the piano a bit, and I can play the trumpet, which is the first instrument that I learned. I always wanted, there was always a need for some type of artistic outlet for me when I was younger, and my auntie recognised it, so she tried music lessons, and then it was the drama lessons that really captured me. I was there, and that's what I wanted to do from the age of 8.
Oh yeah, I got into acting for the same reason. I failed all my exams at school, completely hopeless, and therefore was able to do whatever I wanted to because my parents had just sort of given up. They were always very supportive when I said I was going to apply for drama school, but they thought I had no chance at all. And much to their shock, I got in by the skin of my teeth. But I have nothing else to fall back on at all, really. So I have to keep going. That's why I'm still here. Except I did write a TV theme tune once, actually, to a television series. Yes, I could do that. It was it was a kids series called Button Moon. Button Moon? Button Moon. Let's be serious. We're after Button Moon. That's me. None of you know. I love Button Moon.
Yeah, take a shot for sure. I was a super shy kid. I was a smart kid, and it's the strangest thing that I do this now because I couldn't speak in public until I was like 20. It was sad. It was a tragic story. But I needed money. It's a lofty pursuit. So I started doing comedy in bars, and it just sort of bled into something that I really needed to do at a certain point. And if you could do anything else, obviously do anything else, but I wouldn't trade it. I absolutely love it. So.
This is the Daleks question for all of you. Who's your all's favorite sci-fi villain?
Oh, you, buddy.
I'd like to see a fight between you and the Borg, though. That'd be a good battle.
I was at Cybermen, actually. Sorry, I'm very sorry. I don't mean that. It's just
he's going loco.
He's here screaming.
He's going. Calm down. He's going.
You want us to leave the room now?
This question is for Gareth. Before I ever watched Torchwood, I don't know if anyone's ever seen Shark Attack 3 with John Barrowman. So my question, because from his epically famous line in that movie, and then his character, Captain Jack, is kind of a slut. So I was curious as to whether he's as sexual in person as he is.
The reason we had to do so many takes in Torchwood, never mind the reasons for Doctor Who or Eureka, was because we had to prize his willy out of props to get him to stand on his mark. So no, he wasn't very sexual at all.
This is for all three, basically. What's your ideal role? If you could do one role, irregardless of contacts or history, what would you want to do?
A specific role. I don't know that I've got one. I really haven't. I'm too old to do any of those things like, say Hamlet, if you go.
Irregardless, doesn't matter.
What?
Doesn't matter. It's your ideal role.
I like Dr. Faustus. Yeah. I like that.
Our Faustus, now hast thou but one beer to live. I've done that.
Really?
In college, yeah.
Fuck you. If there are any kids here, sorry about that.
I've already spoiled that one.
No, I love that play, and I'd love to do that sometime.
I'll play Mephistopheles.
Done. Yeah. Done.
Yeah, this is for Colin. You said that you really enjoyed the power of being the producer and getting to make the decisions. Was your first decision?
I'll regret that, but yeah.
Was your first decision? I want to make out with everyone on the show. This past season, you were making out with all the female cast members.
You know what? I'm a giver, and you can tell who they are.
That's what John Barrowman said.
No, that wasn't my first decision. Actually, Erica gets it the worst. Every time we get a script where she used to make out with someone, she's like, "Oh, why me again?" Everybody. So, she's the best. I mean, like the nicest. Yeah, Erica Lupo. She's a dingbat, but she's lovely.
This one's for all of you guys. If there was going to be a remake of any series, is there any certain sci-fi character you guys would want to play, your dream role that you never got to play?
You guys know each other? Alright, let's hit it. I will go for the captain of a starship on a Star Trek reinvention. Yeah, top that.
I can't think of anything at all.
You just want to be Yonto alive again.
Do you guys? Think that they would ever let an American Doctor Who happen?
No!
Don't be ridiculous, Colin.
It's already bad enough they're doing Sherlock in the American version. Yes.
They're doing Sherlock.
Of course, the Paul McGann Doctor, the Paul McGann Doctor, who was an American production, of course, but they still didn't go for an American. So I don't know that they would. There's something quintessentially British about Doctor Who. I'm not saying that's necessarily a good thing. I'm just saying it's a little difficult to be on.
I didn't mean to start like a 5-minute fire. Step away.
If it was anyone, it would be Colin.
Oh, absolutely.
That there was a petition, some people started it to make Justin Bieber the next Doctor.
You can tweet that reaction if you want.
No text large enough.
This question's for Gareth. You said your wife was not happy watching you have to kiss John, but how did you enjoy it?
I nearly asked that question.
He's a terrible kisser. Terrible kisser. I don't know whether maybe just got different styles or what.
What's your style?
I'll show you later. Well, the experience for me was, I was thankful that he didn't have, you know, what would have freaked me out is stubble against stubble.
I thought you were going to say cold sore when you did
No, herpes free.
Just so everybody knows.
His face is, you know, is smooth, like a woman's. So, close your eyes, it's not too bad.
I just wanted to see if you were still okay on Jello up there.
I'm saving this one. I've had so much abuse for it now. I'm going to save my full.
I want to demo it for you too. Can I take it like this? One time around the edge.
That looks dirty from here.
Great job.
Did it fucking work?
Hold on, I'm sorry, Mr. Question, please start again.
Growing up watching Next Generation, how was it working with Lloyd?
Oh, it's crazy that when you grow up watching people on TV and then you work with them, like you go home the night before and you prep a little more seriously. Like, especially on a series, you can show up and phone it in a bit, or you're like, I can learn it in the morning, but when we had Wallace Shawn come in and do a thing, and then when he or Will show up, you just you try a little harder so you don't look like you're bad. But it's funny that when you meet people who know that you do a show and you grew up watching them, it's a complete mind bend. It's really weird.
I had a big problem with Will Wheaton's character in Star Trek, though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He was supposed to be the new Mozart, this incredible genius, and he turned into a right. I think not words associated with not Will, but the character. The character, he came back and he was all, you know, angsty, and he was about 20, and he was acting all childish, and so I think we liked that arc in his character. And I wanted to play Where's the Pressure?
His mom was hot.
Oh. She was alright.
Let's see first.
Well, just in tandem with the last question, Peter, having grown up watching Cardinal and Troughton and then working with them for the 5 Doctors, similar feelings, don't you?
Well, I worked with Patrick Troughton before that, actually, in the series called Bleachers Great and Small. He was a guest. So I just knew him as Patrick, really. It wasn't in that sense awe-inspiring. Right? It was to be, when I did the 5 Doctors, he was surrounded by all of those guys, even though Tom Baker was just a flashback. Tom Baker, actually, who preceded me, once gave me some advice before I started my first episode, when we did what they call the regeneration scene, where I turned from Tom Baker. But there was so much noise in the bar, I couldn't hear what he said. And I just nodded politely and went, okay, right. And I asked him the other day what it was he'd said, and he couldn't remember. Far too late now, anyway, so.
You ballsed it up anyway.
Whatever it was, I was still the best.
What's one piece of advice that you would give someone who's trying to become an actress or like a working actress that might not be like very forthcoming, like people might not be like a widely known fact? Like what's one thing that you learned, you're like, oh, I don't think people know that?
Keep your clothes on.
Learn your lines, I would say.
Yeah.
I think there's a trend I've noticed between young actors coming into things that there doesn't seem to be a need to know your lines well. And I think that you need to know your lines so well that then you can then play with it. You then do all those things, but if you're trying to think all the time, what's my next line, you just can't relax into it.
A lot of young actors, they stop at 27 is the age, that's sort of the age in Britain anyway, where most young actors give up and pursue something else. So I'd say, for me, it's determination and staying power is the most important thing you can tell an actor, even if it feels like it's been an eternity. If you really, really want to do it, if you really believe in it, or like myself, if you can't do anything else, stick at it, pick yourself up, and it's not so much the art of becoming a better actor, it's the art of keeping that confidence in yourself and not letting rejection after rejection get you down. If you can conquer the art of picking yourself back up and carrying on, then you're much more likely to get there in the end.
And be self-aware. Know what try to learn what your wheelhouse is. Try to learn what you do well and where you pop, so that you can use that whenever it comes up. I mean, it's sort of about that. I think on some level, it's just knowing what you do. Sort of like, this is what I do, and I do it pretty well. And then you can extend from that, but know what you do.
Yeah, being honest with yourself.
Yeah. And especially when you suck, you're like, that's the best thing when you go like, I was awful. and it's very freeing.
For all of you, I know that Eureka's coming to an end. I know I'm not even sure what you're doing right now. So what
most depressing question. Now continue, it's great.
What are your plans for the future? I know that,
right here, baby.
I know that you guys are all looking and working on projects. What are some of your future projects you're working on?
Well, I decided to take the summer off because I've been in a show in West End for 2 years. I thought I'd just relax in the sunshine, and the weather has been shit. So I'm here, and now the weather is 100. What is it now here? No, it's shit the other way. But I'm doing another series of Law and Order UK and I have this, it's a sort of sod's law thing that I keep thinking, I think I might retire now. And the moment I play with that idea, my agent seems to ring up. It's terrible. Just going, I think I've had enough of this. I think I'm just going to relax and just retire. And there he is on the phone going, Peter, how about this? And it works a dream.
You know what? Then I think I've had enough of this, and I think I'm going to retire. No, I'm in development. Shot something, going to shoot something else, and just keep sort of plugging away. Development's a fun place to be because you write stuff and you try to control it, and then they'll all say no. But it's a fun process to pursue.
Oh, it's my go. Yeah. I'm doing Holby City, which is sort of British ER, I suppose. I'm doing 4 episodes of that in the summer. I'm working on a new album with a band, Blue Gillespie. We are now. Now I know where to get the rights from.
I'll do backing vocals.
Did you sing it as well?
Yeah.
I love button.
Here, take it off.
This is Peter. Who's your favorite new doctor?
Well, I think I've already said it. I mean, I have to say David Tennant because he is now my son-in-law, so I'd be in trouble if I didn't say that. No, but I didn't think he was fantastic. I was surprised in the way that he took the part because when Chris Eccleston left, David's career was really in the ascendancy, and I think he could have done virtually anything. And the reason he did Doctor Who was because he loved it so much, and I think that really came over in the series. I think he did a fantastic job. And he is my son-in-law.
That's kind of a two-part question. Number one, Colin, did you make these yellow shots?
No, I didn't. Who did make these shots? Literally, how stupid is this? They gave me a bucket backstage. Someone I'd never met before comes up to me, gives me a bucket, and says, hand these out to strangers.
You can all be welcome right now.
And for any of you that were asking about the acting, I'm giving a panel tomorrow at 1 on how to break into SAG, so all the details. But yes, it's vodka. There are cherry with cherry vodka, raspberry with raspberry vodka, and grape with just vodka.
There's a difference between them.
There is a flavor. We figured that's the way to really liven up the panel. And I heard tale of Colin galloping in Denver. Apparently the altitude makes you act like a horse sometimes. Or ride an invisible horse, my friends.
Alright, that story, I don't know where that came from. A gallop?
Yeah, I don't know. They said that you came whooping by riding an imaginary horse galloping.
I don't know. That's masculine.
But I figured anybody who would do that would throw away strange buckets of Jell-O, so there you go.
I don't know where that comes from.
My second part was for Garrett. How are you still standing? That was a lot of vodka in one shot.
It's nothing done.
He's not standing.
He's British.
Get your videos ready for when we leave the stage.
I am British, I am Welsh, I'm not English. I was actually doing a convention in Peterborough, which was, sort of east of England, and Gemma was heavily pregnant, my wife, and she was overdue, and she came with me on the condition that if anything did start to happen, I was capable of driving back to Wales so we wouldn't have an English baby.
I should be insulted.
First of all, Mr. Davison.
Yeah.
My mom absolutely loved you in All Creatures. Could you wave hi to her?
What? Oh, you're
I'm over here. Hi, what's that?
All right. Hi. Who am I saying hi to?
My mom.
Hi, Mom. How you doing?
Her name's Margaret.
Margaret. Hi, Margaret.
Margaret, your daughter is so drunk. Tell her to put her clothes back on.
Anyway, my question is for all three of you, but now I think maybe Gareth should be excluded. What do you like to see when you open up a script, and what do you not like to see when you open up a script?
Kissing a man.
Dying.
Lots of interior, or like exterior, night, rain.
No costume changes. Just one costume, that was the best thing about Doctor Who. One costume all the way through. Didn't have to keep running up to the dressing room, putting on a costume for scene 3, act 4, or whatever it was.
Yeah, amen. We're so lazy.
You did pretty well, didn't you, with the end?
One uniform, whole series.
Awesome.
And you do the costumes and you're like, oh, I think my character's probably in his uniform. And then I am on my way to work. There's always shades of polyester.
Now, what do you like to see?
What do I like to see?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have lots of things going in my mind.
Everybody. If you know, a few pages in, I'm still aware that I'm reading a script, and indeed halfway into, I'm still aware that I'm reading a script, then I tend not to finish it. I like to get lost in the script. My imagination does work overtime when I'm reading. So I suppose the effectiveness of a script is how much I can lose myself in it, how I read it, the characters, and how much I can imagine it, how much I can see it, or how much I connect with the words, the characters.
Yeah, it's a bad sign when you close it. When you're like, I need a break.
Yes.
How close, with for any of you, how close are what we actually see on TV in your episodes are like the scripts to it? You guys ad-lib or improv, or does that go on very often during your shows?
On ours it does.
It just depends on the show and the writer, really, actually. If I've done a couple of scripts. I did a script by Andrew Davis, who is a great writer, and you really don't want to change a word of it. You just want to do every sort of, dot, to play it exactly as it's played. There are other scripts which you need help, really. And so you do just work on those in the rehearsal process. And just try to, we don't do. I don't think you do as much improvisation as you probably do in American shows. It's not kind of British way of doing things. I think. We're a bit sort of old-fashioned in that way. We tend to kind of stick to the script.
The writer does the words and the actor reads.
Kind of. I think that's true. Though. I mean, I think you hear a lot of stories. Especially when you see these sort of outtakes at the end of usually films, where the actors are doing completely different things in the scene.
Yeah, I mean, we don't do that in like, it's never like that, and it's never freeing to have to improvise. It's always like you prefer to get a script that the words are so well crafted that it's a joy to do them, and you're stunned by how you never need to add anything. I mean, that's an amazing feeling. But frequently, yeah, it's that. It's like they've written something, and you have 10 feet to walk from this door to that door, and they've written 2 pages, and you're like, we can't fit in. We've got to adjust it, we've got to make it work, so it's sort of logistics. How would you recommend this? Logistics.
I'm doing it as well.
Yes. Stop. No, you're okay.
I'm sober.
I guess this question
whatever.
Well, what did either of you take mementos from Torchwood or Doctor Who? And
I didn't touch any of those prompts after John Barrowman beat.
Colin, do you plan on taking anything?
Here, you take yours.
I turn off the video cameras, please. I do have the Doctor Who outfit that I wore. In Doctor Who. Officially, of course, it's not mine. It belongs to the BBC, so I can never sell it on eBay, which is terribly depressing. It's accountable now for me, my pension. But yeah, that's all I have really. I don't have anything else. There are various things you pick up along the way, and then people will write to you and say, do you have anything you can give for a charity auction? And those sort of things which aren't so important to you, you tend to sort of just send off. So I'm left with, in fact, not even all the costume. I have the jacket and the shirt. Yes, just in private moments I wear a jacket.
Yeah, I stole some stuff. Yeah, just little things like my nameplate from the desk and my uniform and the badges and
the set.
And actually, no, it was a lot of stuff. Now that I think about it, it was a box that was like this big.
Yeah, I had a similar box of clothes and things. Just bits of, ties, shoelaces, a £1,500 watch, small things. Pardon? I've still got some of the suits, yeah. No.
I didn't even take my stuff, I took other people's stuff. I brought a big box into a wardrobe and I was like, yeah.
That way everyone else gets the blame.
Yeah. I'm gonna take your stuff, that's just weird.
How do I possibly follow that? I feel bad for saying I had the question more for Colin because you're all absolutely bloody brilliant. But noticing what you've been doing more with producing and directing the last couple of seasons of Eureka, I wanted to see, as an actor and director, if you had a preference for the episodes where you were just in front of the camera or acting and then jumping back behind the camera, like directing your fellow castmates and stuff, and seeing if you had a preference one way or the other, just being where you were in front of the camera.
Yeah, I mean, having to jump back and forth sucks. It's because you can't do either job as well as you'd like to. If there's a camera move, you don't actually know if it worked. So that's hard. I prefer to do one or the other. I directed a movie, which I like, with actually Emilia Clarke, who does Game of Thrones. Yeah, that's right. I directed her. Yeah. The movie's terrible too. But it's great to do one or the other. Is probably what I'd say. Do I prefer either one? They're sort of the same to me. But I like to tell people what to do, that's always fun. Or ask them politely to please do something for me.
This one's for Peter. Was it difficult to keep on replacing the celery sticks?
It was made of canvas. We didn't replace the celery stick at all. There was only one real stick of celery in the entire show, and that was when in Enlightenment, I think I walked in and there was a pot on the table and I had to take a bite because I meant to love celery. What you didn't see is when the cameras were switched off, I went, because I don't like it. And it was a canvas stick because it would just wilt, unfortunately. So it was just one little piece of celery stuck on my lapel for 3 years.
There's nothing worse than wilty celery.
Nothing is worse.
This question is for Peter and Gareth. You've both done quite a bit of radio drama. How's that experience compared to your typical camera acting?
No costume changes.
You don't have
no shaving.
You don't have to learn the words.
Do you find it
lazy?
Is it as gratifying, or is it gratifying in a different way?
It's gratifying. Yeah, I find it gratifying in a different way. But what happens is, I suppose you're talking about the big finish things that I do, because you do them inside 2 days. I can't really remember anything about them. So people would ask me questions about what's my favourite Big Finish story. I couldn't tell you because I don't know what each story is about. Once you've done it, you've kind of done it, and it's a thrill when you're doing it because you're kind of walking a tightrope a bit because you're not, you haven't studied the script in the way that you would study it for a TV show. But there is a thrill in doing it, but then it's kind of gone out of your head after a couple of weeks. So it's gratifying in a different way, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's great that you've got the cans on you and you can really hear yourself where on set, you can't really hear what you sound like when you're just talking normally into a room, but when you've got the cans and you can hear your own voice, you've got more control, I suppose, over the way you sound, and you can manipulate your voice and hear the products straight away without worrying about it. So that's satisfying. Working with people like David Warner as well, which I just did in the Scarifiers. Was a great thrill doing scenes with him. Have you done that as well, the Scarifiers? No.
There is a problem I found with audio drama, and that is that you tend to sort of retreat into voice modulation acting. And a few years ago at the BBC, someone came up with what seemed at the time the maddest idea in the world, and that is that they would record radio drama on location. And I thought they were completely crazy. So that if there was a story set in a house, say, or they would actually take you out on location, and they would follow you around as you walked around. Obviously no costumes or anything like that, but you would do it. But the effect was absolutely brilliant because it stopped actors doing that thing where they're sort of very interesting, and people sort of tend to do that sort of bad radio modulated voice acting, and it stopped all that. They've now not, I think they're not doing it so much now, which is a great shame, because when I first heard it on the radio, I thought, there's something different about this drama. It doesn't sound like and it was because it was on location. And then I did one, and it was great.
It sounds very clean, doesn't it, radio? A lot of the time it sounds too clean. Too clean and methodical and processed. Yeah.
You guys both have great voices, I gotta say. Awesome. It's just like sexy.
Thank you.
You guys have another? Oh, sorry.
Do you have a favorite Eureka episode?
Yeah, I like the more comedic ones. I like Up in the Air where the bank gets taken. And I like the body swap episode from this year. That was rad. Yeah, I think that's it.
I think we have time for about one more question now. It's unfortunate, but that's
all right, so that means you get 45 Jello shots.
There's a lot of Jello in there.
Take it away, Mike.
I guess it's for all of you. When you guys, since a lot of you guys have all done a lot of stuff, when you guys read in a script that your character is ending, dying off, whatnot, have you ever wheeled and dealed with the director or writer so it does not?
I'm drunk, I've spaced out.
Have you ever
Maybe.
ever tried to bargain with the director or writer to try to keep your character on if the character is dying off and the series is continuing?
If you're being killed?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to do that story. Let me tell you.
I guess it is mostly aimed at Gareth.
Yeah. Yes, neither Colin nor myself have ever really been killed off.
Why would you kill us?
Killed off.
A lot out here.
I get killed off a lot. I did have the belief that the quieter you go, the more likely they are to bring you back. No. No. Next time that anyone kills me off, I'm going to go kicking and screaming. No, I'm joking. It depends on how it happens, I suppose, and the story arc and the way it happened, and the scene that it happened in, and the circumstances, where it was so powerful and so moving. You couldn't argue with it. You couldn't sort of say, oh, it was the best series, wasn't it? Children of Earth. For some reason, it wasn't as good after that.
Just not die at the scene now. Like all the scripts go off and you shot 6 times, you're like, what?
There was a
fall to the ground.
There was a scene where Gwen's walking down with Jack, and they lift the plastic off the dead bodies. Of course, Jack's there and Yanto's there, and Jack's immortal and Yanto isn't. So there's that. Gwen pulls the plastic back from John, and she smiles slightly because she knows he's coming back. And then there's the sad bit where she pulls back and Yanta's there. There were a couple of takes where whenever she pulled the plastic back, either me and John would have a big fake moustache on their eyes. But you know, we had to give up on that in the end and play dead properly.
You guys have been really, really great.
Yeah, thank you.